Hello everyone, I am Neha Vandavji. This is video about the Spark Foundation Task1 Data Science and Business Analytics of GRIP, that is Graduate Rotational Internship Program of Spark Foundation. So the task 1 is to predict the percentage of a student based on the number of study hours from the given data set, that is the linear regression. This is the simple linear regression task which involves two variables. Here we have to predict the score if student studies for 9.2 hours per day. Here I am performing this task with the help of the Python language and the IDE which I am going to use is the Jupyter notebook, and the code will post on the my GitHub account. So now get start the task. So, the linear regression is a supervised learning model. Find the best fit linear line between the independent and the dependent variable. That is, it finds the linear relationship between the dependent and the independent variable. So, firstly, here we will import some libraries like a sklearn and s. So, firstly, here we import some libraries like sklearn, that is sklearn. This scikit-learn is probably the most useful library for machine learning in Python. The sklearn library contains a lot of efficient tools for machine learning, and other libraries are NumPy and SNS. After that, we import pandas library. Panda is a built-in on the top of the two core Python libraries, that is the matplotlib for the data visualization and the NumPy for the mathematical operations. Here we are going to use NumPy, which is a numerical Python. It is a library consisting of multidimensional array objects and the collection of routines for processing those arrays, and matplotlib is an amazing visualization library in Python for 2D plots of array. After that, I have imported Seaborn library, which is the data visualization library built on the top of the matplotlib and closely integrated with the pandas data structure in the pipe. So after importing all the libraries, mm, here we having a link of the data set uh, that uh, so after importing all the libraries required, here we are having a link of the data set of student which is provided by the Spark Foundation for task 1. So we will store the link in variable. After that, we'll read this with the help of CSV. After that, data.head7, it will print the first 7 data from the data set. After running this code, we will have this output. After that, we will check if there is any null value in the dataset for we use data. Is null equal to true? If null data is present in the data, then it will print true, otherwise false. So here is no null value present in the dataset, so it will print false. Then SNS set style dark grid. It will set the parameter that control the general style of the plot. Here it is the dark grid. It is for the time of plotting the graph after we have a SNS.scatterplot. It is a diagram where we use value in the dataset is represented by the dot. So here we have two value that are given, that is x and y. For score, x is for hours and the PLT.title it used for the given title to the graph, that is marks versus study hours, and Y label for the percentage and X label for the hours studied. Then PLT.show it will display the visual representation of marks versus study hours. Then we have a SNS.reg plot. This is used for linearly plot the data, that is x equals to hours data and y equals to score data. Then plt.title it will print the title of the plot, and plt.y label print the mark percentage and label, and plt.x label prints the hour study label. Then plt.show it will plot the regression plot. After that, data.corr. It is used for plot the data in a linear regressions. So after that, here we are defining x and y. From the data, here we are using ilog. This function is used to enable to select a particular cell of the dataset. After that, splitting the data into the form in the training and the testing cell of the dataset. After in the two forms of the training and the testing. Then we have a regression, which is the linear regression type, and the regression fit. The linear regression model with the coefficient x and y, we just print the simple message, that is model trend. Then we have a predict y, it is the prediction purpose, and the y pd.data frame, which is in the form of hours and predicted the mark. So after run this, we will get this output, that is in the form of hours and the predicted marks. Then we use compare the actual marks and the predicted marks. After that we plot the actual versus predicted, then calculate the accuracy of the plot. Thank you.